Leon Chevalier asked a fantastic question in the chat there. Is the American system of democracy fair? Is it democratic? Is it good? Do we like it? No, is the answer. The more you know about it, by and large, the less you like it. My answer to you, Leon, was twofold. Number one, it's not run well, and number two, it's not set up well. In terms of run well, you have what we've shown earlier. There's psychopaths defunding libraries, and then there's, of course, gerrymandering, which we're going to touch on in a moment. In addition, it's not set up well. We got 50 states, and we have representatives from districts in those states, and they make up the House. So it's very much like the parliamentary system, I suppose, in that way. But we have this one other thing, where every state gets 2 senators, no matter the population of the state. That means if you live in a state with a very small population, and you don't have to interact with, say, people with other religions or skin colors or things like that, your vote, your representation is much more than people from a very populated state. And that system of senators makes it inherently skewed towards landowners, essentially. People in states with low population where they have a lot of land. Or just frankly, states with low population. In addition, we have the Electoral College, which decides our presidencies. And that is where the states have a certain number of votes for president each, and that is based off their population, but it ain't exactly. It's not a perfect way to measure it, to the point that, with the exception of George Bush in 2003, a Republican hasn't won the popular vote in like 30 years. A Republican president hasn't won the popular vote in like 30 years. So it is not a true representative democracy. There is a fella on the internet, which I recommend folks watch, by the name of Shark3oZero. I think is his handle there. Regardless of how you say his name, old Sharky makes a great point, and I clipped a bit of his stream. There's a link to the full stream in the description. But here he is.
A conservative genuinely believes. Let's do a little thought experiment, okay? Especially for some people who aren't like fully bought in. A little thought experiment, all right? To understand like why this is insane. Let's take you have like 105 people, okay? They have 105 people at a party, and the party host goes, we're getting food. Should we order pizza or wings? Okay? And I want you to step in one of these, like, step in like one of these circles or something. You can vote for if you want pizza or wings. 100 people want pizza.
Just for the record, he's explaining how the senator system works, I think, during this part of the stream. But this is a perfect way to describe how gerrymandering ends up working. So that is why I'm showing it. No more
pizza. But 5 people want wings. And so what do you think you should probably do in that situation? When 100 people want pizza in a party full of 105 people, but 5 people want wings, you should probably go with, and you can only get one, you should probably go with the pizza. Way more people want pizza than they do wings. And that makes sense normally. What conservatives think is actually fair, how they want to run the country, is there's 105 people. You want to order pizza or wings. You have to choose. And so you vote. But instead of voting as in like you cast one person, one ballot, as in one person, one ballot, as in like one person's vote is just one vote. What they enjoy, what they like, what makes people think we're like super conservative is they go, okay, here's what we'll do. We'll draw one circle around the 100 people that want pizza, and then we'll draw 5 circles around each individual person that wants wings. And now instead of one person, one vote, each circle gets one vote. And so now you have 105 people, 100 want pizza, 5 wants wings. But the votes come out to 1 for pizza and 5 for wings. An overwhelming victory for wings. And that's what Republicans genuinely believe democracy should be. And that's why they always post those maps that are like, oh, look how Republican the country really is. The country's so red. When like they have like when it comes to some of their states, like half of the state being like a single congressional district.
I mean, there it is in a nutshell, or a pizza box, or a wing barrel. The point being, great summary. Yeah. So, for example, in Wisconsin, the whole state is voting wings for their representation. And the Wisconsin, House and Senate are just stuffed with GOP folks, even though for presidential elections, it's flip a coin. Michigan was like that. Then we switched from a legislature assigned process of drawing districts to an independent panel, as in these are not the folks who will be elected into office by the district lines. In 2018, we switched so that they decide. And guess what happened to Michigan, which had been just controlled by Republicans for 14 years before then? All blue. In the following election, it went mostly blue. Then we got just a little taste of what it's like to be led by Democrats. In fact, we had that during a pandemic, and people liked it. People preferred it. We felt safer. Things were handled. All blue in 2022. And now we've enshrined the right to an abortion in our state constitution. We've restored the ability for unions to form and exist. And despite the fact that there's a lot of dummies in Michigan who can't even shave a mustache down without clipping into it, we're doing all right. I think we're going to see similar things happen in Wisconsin if that state can take advantage of the fact that it has a Supreme Court that is going to make sane rulings. But what can you do? Check your own state. Make sure you are not gerrymandered, because that is a great way to ensure that you will never have your voice heard. But also, I would say, look for the gerrymandering. Look for the madness, and see if those two things overlap. And I think you'll find they tend to. And of course, as always, and it's the theme of the show today, ask folks who are on the other side if these are really their principles. And if these are their principles being carried out with gerrymandering, with a non-representative democracy, then are their principles worth having? And they will tell you yes in the moment, and then they'll go home and be haunted by it. And that's really the goal. Make them think.